Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to week 5 of season 9 of the Lions Den Quiz League. It is the last week rather of the regular season. Well, just the season. I don't think there's going to be a championship for week 9. Season 9, there should be one for season 10. But yeah, this is how the overall standings look so far. I have the highest standing of everyone who's played 4 weeks so far, but of course there are people who have played 5 and who are very likely going to finish above me. Especially Wiggy, 187, Saluna, 185. I'm never ever catching them. But yeah, we will see how I do in this final week. And let's see, week 4 I finished in 5th, week 3 I was 6th, week 2 I was 12th, and week 1 I was 10th. So yeah, it's been solid, pretty consistent so far. No absolutely insane weeks, but all pretty solid. And anyway, I think enough yapping for me. Let's get started with the quizzes, starting with quiz number 1. All the answers are 2 letters, starting with a Latin phrase that translates into "in the year of the Lord" is the origin of what 2-letter abbreviation? In the year of the Lord is Anno Domini, which is AD, which is, of course, like, years after 0, basically. I think some people think it means after death, but that is not what AD means. It means Anno Domini. Question 2, what was the family name of the only emperor and founder of a short-lived Chinese dynasty around 700, known partially as the Zhou? Earlier, that person had effectively served as emperor during the Tang dynasty, making decisions while their relatives held the throne. So the "their" thing makes me think it's kind of intentionally avoiding saying that it's a she rather than a he. So I'm pretty sure that this is Empress Wu Zetian, who I know that she was empress during the Tang dynasty, so it makes perfect sense. Family name, 2 letters, etc. So I'm pretty sure this is Empress Wu. Question 3. Maurice and Robin were the first names of 2 members of a 3-person band of brothers whose greatest commercial success came in the late 1960s and 70s. The 3rd member of the band has what initials? This is kind of a cool question, to be honest, because for a second I was like, I don't know what's going on here. And then I realized, okay, what's a band of brothers who were successful in the 70s? And I thought of the Bee Gees, and I was like, wait a second, like BG makes perfect sense that BG would be a set of initials. I think Gibb is the last name. I'm not actually sure what the B is, but Maurice, Robin, and whoever the B is would be the 3 members, and BG would be the initials, which is kind of a cool way to ask a question. So I quite enjoyed this one. Question 4, what is the name of the female cow seen in these 2 paintings? So without the 2-letter hint, this would have been a heck of a lot more difficult. But I think this is presumably Io from Greek myth, who gets turned into a, what is it, heifer or whatever, some kind of female cow. Maybe just a cow. I don't know. There's too many terms for different types of cows with slightly different characteristics, so I'm not sure. But I think Io is famously transformed into a cow. My other thought would have been like, is it Europa? But it's not Europa. Zeus is the one who turns into a cow, right? In that story? I'm not sure. Anyway, pretty sure it's Io. Question 5. The hymn Ut Queant Laxis, whose first 6 lines can be found below, was the basis for a pedagogical tool used by the monk and music instructor Guido d'Arezzo. Guido's work lives on today, but ut has been replaced by what 2-letter syllable? And then there's a bunch of Latin, basically. So I was reading through this initially, and I was like, what the heck is this? Like, ut queant laxis resonare fibris. I have like no idea what any of this means. But I thought about it for a little bit. I was looking at the wording of the question. I noticed the guy's a music instructor. Pedagogical means like a learning thing. So I was like, what's going on? And then it hit me that the first syllable of each of these things, other than ut, is re, mi, fa, sol, la. And so this is the solfege, and presumably ut has been replaced by do, which is, again, a very, very interesting and cool question. Without the word music here, I'm not sure if I would have been able to put the pieces together, but it kind of eventually clicked. So I quite enjoyed that one too. And finally, what novel was the first to be set in the fictional town of Derry, Maine? So Maine is a place where Stephen King notably sets a lot of his novels because he's from there. And a 2-letter novel by Stephen King would be It. Again, I can't think of another 2-letter novel. I think it surely is It. So yeah, that's the 6, and I think I probably have all of them. I might go with, I might go with 2, honestly. I feel like Greek myth is kind of knowable. Like Io is probably guessable. Do is very gettable. It is very gettable. AD is gettable. Woo and BG are probably the toughest ones. I don't know though. I don't know. Is BG like how hard is that? Like maybe that actually is hard, and I just feel like that's a connection that people will make, but maybe I'm wrong. But Chinese history feels difficult, so I don't know. I'm gonna go with 2. Not sure if that's the right thing, but BG is correct. AD, Wu, Io, Do, and it's that's 6 out of 6. And that is a very, very fun quiz. I quite enjoyed that one, so thank you to Benny for those questions. Quiz 2. This is the next 2 quizzes are both called Zodiac, and they just each of the 6 questions for a total of 12 just reference one sign of the zodiac with the bolded words. Fish in the infraphylum Agnatha, such as lampreys and hagfishes, are defined by lacking what structures? In humans, the upper part of this structure is called the maxilla. So I'm pretty sure the maxilla is part of the jaw, or like the mandible. I think the mandible is like the other part, I want to say. But I think the maxilla is part of the jawbone. So I want to say that jaws or jaw would be the answer, but I'm not 100% sure. Like maybe it is mandible and maxilla is a part of a mandible or something, but I think the structure would be the jaw, hopefully. Ram, or Rama, the main character of the Ramayana, is an avatar of what preservation god, whose other avatars include Narasimha and Krishna. So the preserver in Hindu myth is Vishnu, and Krishna is definitely famously one of the other avatars of Vishnu. I think there are 12 total, but I might be wrong about that. Question 3. The most well-known running of the bulls occurs annually at the festival of San Fermin in what city? The famous running of the bulls is in Pamplona, Spain. I think that's quite easy. I think it's just a super well-known event. Question 4. The separated at birth twin sisters, Hallie Parker and Annie James, are both played by what actress in a 1998 film? In a later film, also about familial strangeness, she switches bodies with her mother, who is played by Jamie Lee Curtis. So this one took me a second because I haven't actually seen either of the movies referenced, but I've seen the original movie, the original versions of both of the movies referenced. So the first one, I believe, is The Parent Trap, and the second one is Freaky Friday. And I know that there are... Is it Lindsay? Oh, God. Is it spelled an E or an A? I think it's an A. I think it's an A. It'll be taken either way. Anyway, so Lindsay Lohan definitely is in both The Parent Trap and Freaky Friday, but I've never seen either of the versions of the movies with her in them. I have seen both of the original movies, which I think are maybe less popular or less well known, but I don't know. Like, we just watched the movies and they were just the original ones, so I don't know. But I definitely know that there are Lindsay Lohan versions of both of those movies. A dog named Crab appears in a Shakespeare play set in what title city? The play's title characters, who are both natives of this city, are named Valentine and Proteus. So my thought here is that this is the Two Gentlemen of Verona. My other thought was like, well, I also had the thought of like Two Noble Kinsmen, for example, but it's a title city, so like there's no city in the title. So it's like, what's a Shakespeare play that has title characters and a title city, and that are just two guys? And it makes sense that it would be the two Gentlemen of Verona, because I've never read this play and I don't know the names of the characters, so that makes sense why I don't recognize them. So I figure that's just what's happening here. And finally, question 6. Leo the Lion has been viewed roaring at the starts of over 1,200 movies since 1957 as the mascot of MGM, or Metro Goldwyn Mayer. It's just that very, very famous, opening, sequence with it's not a sequence, you know what I mean, the lion roaring at the start of like every movie. All right, I think 5 is the hardest here. I think Shakespeare, especially an obscure play like The Two Gentlemen of Verona, is definitely not something that everybody knows, so I feel pretty decent about enhancing number 5. But who knows, maybe that's the wrong call. But it's definitely been a good start to the week. That is 6 out of 6 once again. Parent Trap, Freaky Friday, Two Gentlemen of Verona, etc. Perfect. All right, I am 12 out of 12, I believe, so far, which is not super common. But next we have the pop culture quiz, and I'm definitely not getting all 6 of these, so tough. First off, one of the claims to fame held by Chasson's, a bar in West Hollywood, is the probably dubious story that at some point in the 1930s they served a virgin cocktail consisting of ginger ale with a bit of grenadine and a cherry to what then child actress? This would be Shirley Temple. which of course is the name of that cocktail. I thought Shirley Temple was like Sprite 7 Up rather than ginger ale, but maybe there are different versions of it. I don't know. Question 2. While most pop songs are in standard major or minor scales, top 40 hits written in the Phrygian scale are rare, but given your interpretation of the tonic chord, include the song linked here, which is by what artist? I don't know. I'm going to say, oh, by the way, I'm not going to play the clip because I'm going to get copyrighted for it, but if you want to listen to it, I'll put it as the first link in the description. I'm going to say Mary J. Blige because this is a person who exists, and I don't know. The song sounds like, I don't know any songs by Mary J. Blige, so I have no idea what she even sounds like, but I'm really grasping at straws here because I just have no idea what the answer is, so tough. Scorpion, Liu Kang, Sub-Zero, and Raiden are all original characters from what violent video game series? So my thought is that this is either Mortal Kombat, Tekken, or Street Fighter. Those are the ones that kind of come to mind when I hear, I don't know, violent video game series, and it just lists characters. Like, those are just kind of what come to mind. It might be something else. I don't think it's like Super Smash Bros. Or anything like that. So I'm just going to guess one of them. I'll say it's Mortal Kombat. Oop. Caps lock. Mortal Kombat. But it could be one of the other ones or something completely different. I don't know. Question 4. The child Solon was raised by centaurs after being given away by his mother, who is what title character of a 90s cult classic TV show? Fans of the show debate the nature of the relationship between this Lucy Lawless played character and the battling bard Gabrielle. I don't have the slightest idea. So I thought about this for a while because I was like, I feel like I can think of this. I don't know. I thought of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which I don't think makes sense because I'm pretty sure the title character is played by Sarah Michelle Gellar, I think is her name, and not whoever Lucy Lawless is. So that one doesn't work. And the only other thing I thought of was Sabrina the Teenage Witch, which, please don't come after me. Like, the fact that she's a mother and the fact that she's called Teenage in the title makes me think that this doesn't really make any sense, and that would be really, really weird if this was correct. But please, like, take it easy on me because I tried for a while to think of TV shows that are, that would have like centaurs in them. Would this have centaurs in it? Probably not. I don't know. I've never seen it. But the point is, I couldn't think of another show that has a title character that makes any sense at all for this. So I'm just giving up and writing this, and I'm just going to take the L. Question 5. 12-time world championship. My God, I cannot read today. 12-time world championship winner and 3-time Olympic gold medalist Teddy Riner is widely considered the GOAT of what sport, whose core principle of Seiryoku Zenyo is often translated as maximum efficiency, minimum effort. So, I'm not sure, but this is like a Japanese sport, clearly, that is in the Olympics, right? So I'm thinking, what's a Japanese thing that's in the Olympics? And my thought was maybe judo or like jujitsu. I know for a fact that judo was in the is in the Olympics, and I think it has been for a while. Like, if somebody told me name a martial art that's in the Olympics, I would immediately say judo because I'm pretty darn sure it's in the Olympics. I think there are others that are as well. And some of the others might be Japanese. I'm not sure, but I know for a fact that judo's in the Olympics and that it's Japanese. So it's the best guess I have. I don't think it's like sumo wrestling or anything. I hope it isn't, but I don't think that makes any sense. So, sumo wrestling I feel like isn't minimum effort, and yeah. Anyway, we'll see. I might be wrong, but I think it makes sense. Question 6: What character enchants magical brooms to act as water carriers for him in a section of a 1940 film set to Paul Ducas's The Sorcerer's Apprentice? This is Mickey Mouse. The film being referenced is Fantasia. So, this is kind of tough because I don't know. I almost want to enhance judo, but I don't feel confident enough that it's right because it is just a guess in the end, and I might be overlooking something that I just have not thought of at all. Mortal Kombat is a guess. Mary J. Blige is a total guess. Sabrina the Teenage Witch is almost certainly wrong. And then 1 and 6 feel very easy. So it's just a question of which one is easier because I think I am still going to enhance one of them. I might actually enhance Shirley Temple because I feel like some people might not know cocktails. I feel like Fantasia is just so famous. Like brooms carrying water, like to me that's just super famous. So I'm gonna go with 1, but I don't feel super great about it. Are those motorcycles there? Maybe. Go with that. No, okay. Well, I did select all matching images. What do you mean? Is this a motorcycle? How am I even supposed to tell that? Ridiculous. Mickey Mouse, Judo is correct. Good. Xena Warrior. I've heard of that. I'm not getting it, though. Mortal Kombat was right. Look, honestly, Lauryn Hill, I'm never getting that either. I've heard her name before, but no chance. And Shirley Temple, I will take a 4 out of 6. I mean, that could have been a lot worse. The 2 guesses that I felt reasonably okay about both ended up being right, which is super fortunate. Maybe I should have been bolder and enhanced Judo, but I think that what I did was fine. And yeah, 4 out of 6 on a pop culture quiz. We take those. Quiz 4 is about identifying what language is being spoken. Now, this is a really hard quiz. They did this many seasons ago. There was a language identification from Audio Quiz, and it was hard, but I think this one feels a lot harder to me. There are a lot of these in here that are just like, bro, I really don't know what's going on here. So I've listened to them all many times. I have tried to put together what I can. I will play them for you guys, starting with clip number 1. I think I will probably unplug my speaker so it's not coming out here. Actually, I need to remember what they are, though. Let me start playing this.
Gelecek hafta üniversite sınavı var. Hazırlamış oldular sayenizde.
Yani şu alan dediğiniz zaman ya bu nasıl bir şey bu diyor işte hayal et. Otomobilin içindesin, hızlanırken veya uçağın içindesin, hızlanırken alan kuruluyor. Bu kadar basit. Yön değişirse gene alan kuruluyor ki sürekli yön değişiyor. Yani şimdi burada söylemek istediğim şey şu.
Buyursunlar.
Okay, so that's the first one. I had to plug it in for a sec to remember which clip it actually was. But to me, I'm not sure, but this one kind of sounds like Turkish. It kind of sounded like there were a couple words in there, like the letter Z was showing up a lot. There were a couple vowels that were like rather than like E, and it was like is like the sound you make in Turkish when you don't have the dot on the I. So I thought it sounded a lot like Turkish, but it could be something completely unrelated. It could be another Turkic language. I really don't know. But I think for clip number 1, I am going to say that it's Turkish. Clip 2. Pull this up.
বিকাবলস সংবাদ শিরোনাম এবার বিস্তারিত ত্যাগের মহিমায় উদযাপিত হচ্ছে মুসলমানদের অন্যতম বৃহত্তম ধর্মীয় উৎসব পবিত্র ঈদুল আজহা সুপ্রিম কোর্ট প্রাঙ্গণের জাতীয় ঈদগাহে অনুষ্ঠিত হয়েছে দেশের প্রধান ঈদ জামাত এতে অংশ নিয়ে দেশবাসীকে ঈদের শুভেচ্ছা জানিয়েছেন প্রধান উপদেষ্টা ডক্টর মোহাম্মদ ইউনূস জামাত শেষে দেশ ও মুসলিম জাতির কল্যাণে মোনাজাত করা হয় বিস্তারিত জানাচ্ছেন একরামুল।
Okay, that was clip 2. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm just following the Giants game on my phone during the clips because they're playing the Dodgers. So that one sounded, I don't know, that one sounded Indian to me, kind of. And there were a couple of words in there that one of them sounded like Muslim and one of them sounded kind of like Muhammad. And also one of them was like Dish. Like I don't know if it, I think this is probably a really bad thing for me to be going off of, but it sounded like he said Desh at some point. That makes me think Bangladesh. But I don't know. But the thing is, like, India has a bunch of official languages, and the quiz text said each of these is the sole official language of at least one world country. So, like, it can't be like Hindi because Hindi isn't the sole official language of any world country. But it could be Bengali because, as far as I know, that is the sole official language of Bangladesh. The issue is it could be Urdu for Pakistan. It could be Persian. There are just options here that also would probably sound somewhat like Indian languages, and I am not skilled enough to know the differences between them, so I'm going to guess Bengali, but I don't feel super great about it. Clip 3. Soon as it loads.
Wiemy jedno, exit pole pokazały, że niewielką przewagą wygrał Trzaskowski i już tego szczęścia ani nie zabierze, ani namiot. Parę godzin możemy z tym żyć, ale za chwilę będą te late exit pole, czyli te późniejsze, które są bardziej dokładne. A tak naprawdę, jeżeli miałbym coś radzić, to zaczekać na wyniki PKW, które będą prawdopodobnie jutro po południu, bo to będzie pierwszy fakt, z którym wszyscy będą się musieli liczyć. To znaczy ktoś wygrał, ktoś przegrał. Różnica może być.
All right, so that one was also kind of annoying because that language sounds Slavic, like unambiguously Slavic. But it's annoying because there are a lot of Slavic language, and a lot of Slavic languages, and I don't know how the heck to tell the difference between them. But I think, to me, it sounds like Polish probably because of how many like consonants I heard. There were so many instances of like sh and zh and stuff, and like all of those noises kind of fused together, and it was making me think like Polish is kind of notorious for having those crazy consonant clusters and those sounds repeating a bunch of times. So I think Polish is the best guess that I can come up with here, but I don't feel very confident about any of these, to be quite honest. And Polish is just one of the ones where it's like, yeah, this could be Polish, but would I be shocked if you told me it was Czech or Serbian or Slovenian or something like that? No, I just can't tell. So yeah, Polish it is, hopefully, but yeah, we'll see. Clip number 4. Okay, that took a while. All right.
На одоо хамгийн сайхан хотын минь нэг Улаанбаатар хотын минь Азийн цагаан дагна гэж хэлдэг. Яагаад гэвэл энэ хот маань олон залуусаар хүрээлэгдсэн залуусын хот хөгжинд дэвшиж байгаа орчин үеийн сайхан хотын нэг л дээ. Их эртний уламжлалтай, олон их өргөө, нийслэл өргөө гэд олон сайхан нэр устай байсан.
Okay, so this one sounds absolutely wild to me. My first thought was like there was so much like kha and tla and stuff. I was thinking it could be like Hebrew or something, but I don't think it's Hebrew. Like, I feel like I've heard people speak Hebrew before, and it doesn't really sound like Hebrew to me. It's not Arabic. So I was thinking of like, what are some other things that could possibly be right? Things that are sole official languages of certain countries. And I thought of maybe like Somali. Like, I don't really know what Somali sounds like, but I mean, I'm trying to like picture the pirates and Captain Phillips, which is kind of bad maybe, but I don't know. Like I haven't really heard a lot of instances of Somali being spoken, but I feel like it had a lot of those types of sounds in it. But I really don't know much about the Somali language. But I thought for a while about what are things that this could be, and I couldn't think of anything better. So Somali is going to be my guess for number 4. Clip 5.
Prindër, mama dhe baba, kam 3 vëllezër tjerë dhe një motër. Për momentin jetojmë unë me një vëlla tjetër vetëm në Greqi bashkë me motrën. Nuk di çfarë tjetër të them. Më pëlqen të jetoj edhe në Shqipëri edhe në Greqi, sidomos në Greqi ku është dhe.
Okay, this one might be the one that I am the most lost. This one or the Somali one were probably the toughest for me. This one I thought for a sec that it could be something like Esperanto. I mean, because he said like mama and papa at the start. And then there were a couple of words that just sounded really almost weird, almost out of place. Like it definitely didn't really sound like anything I've ever heard before, but I don't think that it's Esperanto. I feel like Esperanto is more sort of oriented towards like Romance and Germanic maybe languages, and I don't think that it quite sounded like that. So I'm instead gonna try Georgian. I thought it could be Georgian, Azerbaijani, Armenian. There were elements in there that sounded kind of Russian to me, which is, I mean, I know that Georgian is probably not even related at all to Russian, but maybe the way that they speak is relatively similar in some ways. And again, there were some kind of consonants in there that sort of made me think it could be like a Caucasian thing, but I really don't know. This is maybe the one I feel the least confident about. I'm just kind of throwing something out there and hoping for the best. And finally, clip number 6.
Ra tin tức đáng chú ý khi cho biết lực lượng Nga đang tiến hành các bước nhằm bao vây thủ đô của Ukraine. Nga muốn bao vây thủ đô của Ukraine. Ngày 4 tháng 6, ở mặt trận phía đông Ukraine, quân đội Nga đang tiếp tục các cuộc tấn công dữ dội và tiến nhanh về phía Kiev. Theo các thông tin mới nhất, ghi nhận được lực lượng Nga đang tiến hành các bước nhắm vào bao vây thủ đô của Ukraine. Điều này có thể khiến tình hình của quân đội Ukraine trên chiến tuyến trở nên cực kỳ khó khăn. Ngoài ra, lực lượng vũ trang Nga cũng đang tạo ra một vòng vây hỏa lực xung quanh quân Ukraine.
All right, so that one, the issue I have with that one is that it very much sounds like a Southeast Asian language. It's clearly tonal because of the way that it kind of changes pitch. But, like, I can't tell which language it is. My thought is that it's either Thai or Vietnamese, but I have no idea how to tell between the two. Like, no clue. So I'm just going to guess one of them. It also could be, like, Burmese or Lao or something, but I feel like the more spoken ones are probably the smarter things to be guessing. But I don't know. I'm going to say Thai, and it's going to be Vietnamese. I really don't know which. And as for what to enhance, this is kind of brutal because I don't feel that confident on literally any of them. I think I'm going to enhance Bengali because it definitely sounded Indian or, you know, like South Asian. And like, it just sounded like he said Desh and like Muslim at some point, and it was like, maybe it's Urdu or Farsi, but I feel like Bengali is the best option. I'm going to try it. But I could have 6 out of 6. I could have 0 out of 6. I genuinely have no idea. This is a really fun quiz, by the way. I really enjoy stuff like this. It's super fun to try and puzzle it out. But this one in particular is very, very hard. So, fingers crossed. I really have no idea how this is going to go. Come on. Turkish, Bengali, Polish, Mongolian, Albanian, Vietnamese. You know what? Okay. So 3 out of 6 is kind of tough. That's not great. It started out really well, and then it kind of fell off. So Mongolian is really interesting. I thought Mongolian was Somali. That's kind of brutal. I mean, wow. I have never listened to anyone speak Mongolian before. That is not what I pictured it to sound like, but that's really interesting. Vietnamese is so annoying because I'm pretty sure I said Thai, right? I don't even remember. I knew I was going to coin flip between the two. I forget which one I picked. I think I did pick Thai, which sucks. Again, no idea how to tell between the two. No clue. I mean, they're both tonal Southeast Asian languages that sound like that, and I have just no idea what the giveaway was. And then Albanian is super interesting. Like, I feel like if I had thought about that one for a little, like, I didn't even think of Albanian, but I feel like if I had thought of Albanian, I might have gone for it because it does make sense. I mean, with the words that were being said, it is reasonable. It's definitely reasonable, but I just didn't. I mean, I've seen Taken, but other than that, I don't think I have a lot of experience listening to spoken Albanian. So it's hard, but that one's probably doable. So that's a bit of an unfortunate result. I don't think I was going to get Mongolian, probably. But the other two, I think, were within reach, especially number 6. So that is a shame. But with that said, it was a very, very hard quiz. So I can't blame myself too much for it. But it was fun. Quiz 5. This is all about meta blank in science, basically. In biology, metastasis most often refers to when cells originating from what abnormal structures spread through the rest of the body. So I think of metastasis as like a cancer thing, like cancer cells spreading, basically. So to me, like originating from an abnormal structure, what's an abnormal structure you associate with cancer? Probably a tumor. I'm not sure about that, but I think that it makes sense. I mean, I don't know what else it would be. Like, it could be some other cancer-related object, but I feel like you just have to say tumors for this. Question 2, the soft mineral talc is the primary component of what metamorphic rock, also called steatite? It gets its common name from the way its smooth texture is reminiscent of a common household item. This took me a second, but I arrived at soapstone, which, again, I think makes sense. I mean, obviously, right? common household items, smooth texture, soap would work. Maybe there's something else I'm neglecting to think of, but this is just kind of what I arrived at, and I was like, yeah, this makes sense. Question 3, the header, which contains metadata, and the payload, which contains the actual data, are the two components of what units of data that are switched when transmitting data over a network. So this one, at first when I read this, I was like, I don't know this, because like computer science, I just don't know anything about computer science related things. But I was trying to think of like, okay, if you're transmitting data over a network, like what could we be talking about? Is this like I started to think about like latency and ping and that kind of stuff, and it's like units of data, what could that be? And I ended up thinking of packets, which I don't have any idea what a packet is, but I know that like I used to play Rocket League a lot, and sometimes like one of the error messages you would get when you're playing Rocket League and your internet is bugging, it would say packet loss. And I was like, I don't know what the hell that means, because I don't know what a packet is. But it's like transmitting data over a network sounds like what was happening. And if that's malfunctioning, if you're losing the packets, which could be units of data, because like payload sounds like something that could be part of a packet. Again, I'm kind of grasping at straws here. I have no idea if this is the right track or if I'm just saying the complete wrong thing here. But I think that it makes sense, at least, for this to be the answer. But again, if you asked me what a packet was in this context, I would not have been able to tell you. So really, it is just a complete guess. Question 4, the most widely used medical radioisotope is the metastable 99 isotope of what element? At atomic number 43 is the lightest element whose isotopes are all radioactive, and it was the first element to be artificially synthesized. So this, I think, is technetium or technetium. I think it's pronounced technetium. I'm not sure. But this is kind of, when you have those periodic tables on the walls in like science class, and you notice that like the synthetic elements are all colored like a certain color, and then like all of the synthetic elements are like at the bottom, and then there's like technetium, which is like randomly in the middle, because it's the only one that's like always radioactive in that part of the table. So anyway, this is that one. It's just that one in the middle of the transition metals that just is artificial, is always radioactive. So that should be the answer there. Question 5, name the thinker who posited the meta-mathematical statement that no axiomatic system capable of arithmetic can prove all true statements about natural numbers. In other words, there is no way to construct a complete axiomatic system. So I think this is Gödel. I think this is Gödel's incompleteness theorem. Again, if you asked me before coming into this to state the details of Gödel's incompleteness theorem, I would not have been able to tell you. But I think, no way to construct it. The fact that they used the word complete in the explanation, it's like hinting at incompleteness. Again, I think this just makes perfect sense. It could be something else, but this is like, once I thought of this, I was like, yeah, surely this is what we're going for. Finally, question 6, negative index metamaterials are specially designed metamaterials that could theoretically have a negative value for what quantity? A hypothetical example of such a metamaterial is pictured below. So I'm thinking like, what's going on here? We have like, maybe like something is coming in and then it's hitting some surface and it's getting deflected in some way. So my brain immediately went to like reflection, refraction, diffraction, all that sort of stuff. Like maybe this is a ray of light that's getting bent in some way. And like it says index, like negative index metamaterials. So like negative value for index, like index of refraction, is what I think of when I see index. Like, I don't know, because again, like, this is the thing, like, I'm such a fraud, especially when it comes to science. Okay. Trivia is kind of like this in general, right? I just memorize a bunch of random stuff, and I don't necessarily memorize what they're about. Like, I'm really good at literature quizzes, and it's just like, I just memorize who wrote what. I don't know anything about, like, what the books are actually about, because I haven't read them. Same kind of deal with science. It's like, I memorize a lot of buzzwords, and I don't really know what they are. Like, I don't really know what the index of refraction is, but I know 100% that it is a unit that is commonly used because it comes up in Quizball all the time. So that's kind of what I'm going off. But it's like, it says index and I see light getting refracted, diffracted, reflected. I don't know what the difference is. But I know that those are all things that happen to light, and I think that since it says index, I feel like this is kind of the only thing that I can guess. I'm not going to come up with anything better. So I think I will enhance Gödel because I think that that's fairly difficult. Like Gödel's incompleteness theorem definitely is not something that most people are aware of, I would think, but maybe I'm wrong. Technetium I think is also not super easy, but it's also just more of a, you look at a periodic table, you might notice this kind of thing, so I'm going to go with 5. Lots of yapping today, but isn't that always the case? Do these ones count? I'm going to count them. I wasn't supposed to count them. That's tough. Okay, this one's a little easier, except do I count the wheel? I'm going to say, I mean, again, if it was me, I would, but I think I'm not supposed to. So, okay, apparently I was supposed to. This is so riveting. Okay, this part of the mirror is here. Do I count that? I'm going to go with no. Does the guy's head count as a motorcycle? Probably not. This is so stupid. Okay, so now, okay, I think this one counts. The question is, do these ones count? I don't know. We have a motorcycle there, but it's not much of one. This one as well. I'm going to not count them. Let's go. Okay. Tumors, soapstone, packets was correct. Let's go, dude. Technetium, Gödel, and index of refraction. That's crazy. 6 out of 6 on a quiz where realistically I had very little real knowledge of what was being asked about is super fortunate. I mean, yeah, I'm actually really happy about packets because I was like I don't know what this is, and then I remembered like packet loss from Rocket League. I was like, wait, like could this possibly be what's happening? And it actually was. Let's go. So this has actually been a very good week for me so far. But we have 2 quizzes left to go. Starting with the novel Something to Answer For won P.H. Newby the inaugural 1969 edition of what literary prize? This prize, given to an English language work of long fiction that was published in Britain, was sponsored by the Man Group for most of the 2000s. So this should be the Booker Prize. I mean, when I hear literary prize, I think Booker Prize, but also Man Booker Prize is something that's a phrase I've heard many times. So Man Group, I don't know what the hell the Man Group is. It's the normal colored version of the Blue Man Group, but anyway, yeah, should be the Booker Prize. Question 2. What instrument, rarely used in orchestras but common in concert bands, was invented in the 1840s by a Belgian instrument maker whose first name was Adolphe? So Adolphe Sax is a guy. The saxophone is named after a guy named Sax. Wants the instruments of saxophone. Question 3. Horace Walpole's 1764 novel, The Castle at Otranto, was the first novel to be classified as what genre of fiction whose common settings include castles? This genre, which commonly includes fantastical horror elements, has the same name as an architectural style that predates it by centuries. So I believe this is called Gothic, specifically Gothic horror. Does it want... What does it want me to say? Gothic novel, Gothic horror, just Gothic? It has the same name. I'm just going to say Gothic. I think that's fine. The word they're looking for is Gothic, so that should get me credit. Question 4. Josiah Wedgwood, the grandfather of Charles Darwin, pioneered a style of pigmented enamel vase painting he described using what adjective? This adjective is more traditionally used to refer to painting done using hot pigmented wax or the wax paints themselves. I have no idea what this is. I mean, I thought it was like... Well, I had no idea, really. I mean, I thought it could be like porcelain or something. Like, that's just not what's going on at all. Like, porcelain is a material... Like... hot pigmented wax, like I don't know if this is just something I should know and don't, but this is just not coming to me at all. It feels knowable, it kind of feels like a skill issue, but I really just don't know what's going on. So I'm gonna say slick, which is almost certainly wrong, but I don't know, I'm just gonna guess an adjective. Question 5. Agatha Christie is among the authors that ushered in the golden age of detective fiction in the 20s and 30s. Many of her works, including Murder on the Orient Express, feature Hercule Poirot, who is, well, he is a mustachioed Belgian detective. Question 6. Arnold Schoenberg and other members of the Second Viennese School of Composition popularized a style of composition named for its use of how many tones? This is also the number of unique notes found in chromatic scales and tone rows. So I'm pretty sure that it's called like the 12-tone 12-tone something. There's a phrase... What is the phrase? Like the phrase 12 tone is just a thing that I've heard before, and I'm pretty sure it's what's going on. I don't know what a chromatic scale is. Is that just like a normal scale? Like, no. I mean, if you do scales on the piano, like there's 8 of them. Like, I don't know what chromatic means, unfortunately. But like 12 tone is just a thing. Like, I don't know where I've heard this before. Again, it's just like Quiz Bowl. The answer is usually Quiz Bowl. It's like I've just heard this. But I was trying to think of like, 8 tones, 6 tones, 7 tones. None of those really rang a bell. And then I thought of the phrase like 12 tone in my head, and it just kind of was like, yeah, this is a thing. And I just don't even know why it's a thing or where it's a thing from. But it's just a thing. I wish I could explain it further, but I think it's just a thing. So yeah, I don't know. Let's go for, I don't know what to enhance here, to be honest. I think I'm actually going to enhance 12 because again, I think that 12 tone scale, 12 tone, what is the phrase? I swear there's a phrase that's like 12 tone something. I don't even know what I'm thinking of, man. I'm so all over the place. Maybe it's 12 tone school or 12 tone. It's probably just like 12 tone scale. I don't know. I'm really trying to like pinpoint where I've heard this before, but I just don't know. But I'm pretty sure 12 tone is a thing. But do I enhance it? What if it's a thing, man. What if I'm thinking of the wrong thing? Like maybe I am thinking of the wrong thing. Like I don't feel 100% about it. Like maybe I just enhance Booker Prize instead. How easy is that though? That feels really easy. Oh my god, I really don't know. Like 12 tone. I don't know. Tone. God, I don't know. I'm kind of caught in two minds about this. I really don't know what the play is here. Or maybe saxophone. Like, how well known is Adolf Sax? Like, maybe he's less well known than I thought. Now I'm just having second thoughts about all sorts of stuff. I feel like the Booker Prize is just really famous. I don't know. Gothic feels really gettable with like the architectural style clue. Poirot is just super knowable. I might actually enhance 2. I don't know. I mean, 12 tone, like it's totally a thing, but I'm just worried that it's a different thing. Like just because I have no knowledge about this, it's making me think that it's like something unrelated. I'm going to go with 2. The answer's going to be 12, but I just, I don't know. What if it's not? Yeah, it's 12. Okay. Gothic fiction, saxophone, it's 5 out of 6. Again, that's fine. Encaustic? I don't think I've ever seen that word in my life. What? Encaustic. I've seen the word caustic. I've never seen the word encaustic as far as I know. That's wild. I'm never getting that correct. That seems super, super difficult. Okay, look, again, I'll take a 5 out of 6 on that. That really wasn't that bad. Again, so much yap because I was like, dude, what if it's not 12? Like, what if 12 tone is something entirely different? I chickened out. Quiz 7. Technological determinism, the idea that a society's progress is dictated by its technology, was coined by what economist? His namesake dichotomy, which contrasts technologies with ceremonial institutions, is reflected in his theory of conspicuous consumption, suggesting that high-status people consume to show off their status. This is Thorstein Veblen, I believe. Veblen is famously the guy who coined the term conspicuous consumption in his book, The Theory of the Leisure Class, I think. Again, that's kind of just like, I don't know that much substantial stuff about this. I just kind of know it from Quiz Bowl. It's like, this is a thing that comes up. Veblen is the conspicuous consumption guy. I haven't heard of the Veblen dichotomy, which is a little bit worrying, but I think this is just kind of a thing that I don't know that much about, which is tough because I studied economics, but it's kind of maybe the excuse is that this wasn't a branch of economics that I studied, but it's probably more just that I am forgetting way more things than I should be forgetting about what I studied. Anyway, that becomes increasingly more evident every day when like basic economic things come up and I'm like, wait a second, like I kind of forgot what this is, and it's kind of embarrassing. Anyway, question 2. Martin Heidegger's stance that technology is the main threat alienating humanity in his The Question Concerning Technology has been criticized by other thinkers given his apparent sympathies with what ideology which resurfaced after the posthumous publishing of his Black Notebooks. I think this is Nazism. I think that Heidegger, again, this is one of the few things I know about Heidegger, is just he was a Nazi. Like, that's just kind of, there's just a few people, like Richard Wagner is another one who's just kind of famously was a Nazi. So yeah, that's kind of one of the things that I just know Heidegger for. So I'm pretty sure that's the ideology that we're looking for. Question 3, Donna Haraway uses the gradual blurring of the boundary between nature and machine as a framework to understand the changing role of feminism in gender politics in an essay titled The Cyborg Blank. The blank is filled with what word, which is also the final word in the title of a work that claims a specter is haunting Europe. Specter is haunting Europe, I believe, is the first line of the Communist Manifesto. So the final word in the title would be manifesto. Question number 4. Max Tegmark's book Life 3.0 imagines a series of possible scenarios regarding how the relationship between humanity and technology will look once artificial intelligence is capable of surpassing human intelligence. That hypothetical point in the future is generally referred to with what word? I don't know. To be honest, no idea at all. I mean, I'm going to say critical points. I mean, makes sense that an important point like that would be called a critical point. It could be inflection point. It could be the intersection, as in like if you graph both of them, they're going to intersect at some point. Basically, it could be anything. I mean, I don't really know how I'm supposed to get this right. It doesn't feel like, unless you've like read this, I mean, maybe there's something that I'm missing, but this doesn't really feel like something you can get unless you know the thing, which I don't know the thing, so unlucky. Again, a lot of these other ones have like alternate ways in, basically. Because again, like for example, Veblen, it's like I haven't heard of the dichotomy, but I've heard of conspicuous consumption. With manifesto, it's like I don't know what the cyborg thing is. To be honest, I've never heard of this, but it's like then it just gives you the Communist Manifesto clue. But this one is just like, you know what or you don't. Question 5. Respecting truth and adapting to change are a few of the title concepts. What title concepts? In a book by Shannon Valor, which attempts to update a certain ethical framework to the age of technology. That framework, based on these concepts, dates back to ancient Greece and proposes that moral people live their lives so as to embody these concepts. I don't know. I'm going to say like values, like values are things that moral people abide by. Like, I don't know. It seems like such a almost vague term, but I don't know. Like, I feel like it makes sense. Like respecting truth and adapting to change. Those could be values that people hold. But unfortunately, I don't really know what's being included. Again, ancient Greece. I know a lot about Greek myth, but I don't know a lot about Greek philosophy. So I'm still a little bit clueless here. So I'm just going to go with values, and we'll see whether that ends up being what they want. Finally, question 6, a paper chiefly written by linguist Emily Bender criticizes large language models by characterizing them as a stochastic kind of what animal. That criticism claims that instead of understanding what they output, LLMs simply repeat information they've been fed and do not have the ability to meaningfully process actual concepts. I'm going to say parrot because, I don't know, I mean, instead of understanding what they output, they just repeat information. That sure sounds like a parrot to me. So, yeah. That's all I really have to go off of there. A lot of sort of difficult kind of niche stuff in this quiz that just some of which has like alternate clues basically is kind of what's going on. Again, pretty interesting quiz. There's a lot of stuff in here that's like, this is, kind of fun. I'm glad I'm learning about this, but yeah, a lot of this I think is relatively obscure, at least the works that are being directly referenced. So I will enhance Veblen because I think that that's difficult, and I think that Manifesto is gettable. Nazism, not easy, but more gettable. Parrot, I think, is easy. And then I don't feel very good about 4 or 5, so yeah, 1 it is. And Parrot's good. Virtues, that's annoying. I said values. Damn it, I should have thought about that for more. Oh, singularity. God, that makes sense too. Veblen, Nazism, okay. 4 out of 6 is fine. I mean, singularity, that makes so much sense, like, that would be the term that you use. Again, there's kind of a lot of I didn't think of the word singularity. If I had, I might have gone for it because it makes so much sense. But like, it's tough. That's tough. Hindsight is 2020, but that's okay. 4 out of 6 is fine. Again, I think that on the whole this week I did very, very well. So I'm pretty darn happy with the result. I don't know if I'll be first, but I'll hopefully be top 3, which would be nice because I don't think I've been top 3 yet this season. But yeah, that's going to do it for me. I have to leave, so I'm going to have to stop the recording and start the recording later once I have the scores. But that doesn't matter to you guys anyway, so I will just see you in a sec once we see what my final scores for not only the week, but the season end up being. But also the season. Can't speak English today, as you probably learned over the course of that 50-minute video. But anyway, yeah, I'll see you guys in a second. We'll see how I did. All right, here are the final standings for week number 5. I ended up finishing in 2nd place, which I believe was my best week finish of the season, which is really, really nice. So yeah, that is nice to finish the season on a strong note. And the season standings at the end of season number 9 look like this. So I finished in 5th place. I was a few points out of 3rd place, but honestly, pretty solid, pretty close to a podium finish. Massive congrats to Wiggy on winning season number 9, and then Saluna and Pissman coming in 2nd and 3rd respectively. But yeah, that is going to do it for season 9 of the LDQL. I am going to try and be more on time with the uploads in season 10. I know that this is going out a couple weeks late, but season 10 should be starting up, I think, tonight actually, as of recording. And I will also get the season 6, 8, and 10 championship videos out, hopefully in pretty quick succession. So yeah, lots to look forward to, but thank you all for watching another season of the LDQL. Thank you to Benny and Looney for putting it together as always, and can't wait for season 10. Until then.